Well, good morning. Uh, you can see I have my 1.9 race sitting here, and I've been switching around a few things. I think so far I want to put the electronics in the rear and eventually find some better shocks, although these ones are working, and maybe a different bumper, some sliders, different stuff. But for right now, this is staying as a really basic trail rig. I'm trying not to do too much because as you add more stuff, it adds more weight. You need more power, you need bigger batteries, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you know how it goes. So I'm trying to stay lightweight. In the spirit of staying lightweight, I've actually gone and found a set of these KMC 1.9 Incision wheels. These are actually some pretty cool wheels. They're not without their faults, but so far I'm actually really liking them. Features. These are actually compatible with the Incision aluminum hubs. You can see that I still have the plastic hubs that came on them. Let's see, the hubs that come with them are a number 4 and a number 7. So you can see the number 4 that's in here. Almost goes flush, pretty much goes flush with the outside of the wheel, close to the offset of one of the axial bead locks. If you notice that it also has a 6-screw ring. Apparently that 6-screw ring is also compatible with axial 6-hole rings. So if you know of any makers out there, I know we've seen some Delrin and some aluminum, some stainless steel, some really cool rings. Eventually I'll find some rings to put on here. Hopefully I can find some already made wrench rings. They'd look really cool on this rig. So here's what comes with the wheels. These were actually parted out from an Incision kit for their new rig, but this is what comes with it, minus the reinforcement ring that's on there and the hub. You can see it also has a few of the wheel hubs that go inside, and then the number 7 plastic hub. Now, once these ones wear out, I'm going to go. I have some aluminum ones already from the Incision methods I have, so that's not a big deal if I strip one. I'm actually curious on how long it's going to take to strip one. This truck isn't extremely heavy, and it's not running a high amount of power, but it is going to have, it already has, just these wheels alone probably have, I'd say, close to 10 miles on them, just from driving around and doing a few trail runs, and that's in the last week. Maybe about 8 miles. So it's not a whole lot of mileage, but they've already had 3 sets of wheels on them, or excuse me, 3 sets of tires. These actually came off of the Creature truck, and though the tread is actually not too terribly worn, they're actually broke in quite well. A few of the tires actually have small rips on the inner part of the bead and the inner part of the sidewall of the tire. That truck has put a lot of abuse on these tires because it's a heavy, heavy truck. I've been running an older set of the Crawler Innovations Mad Beast Height Deece's Wild Foams for the front, and then a newer set for the rear. You see the rears back there. They probably stand a little bit taller because the newer set isn't quite as beat down. They don't have as much flex as these front ones do. These front ones have a little bit of flex to them. They've been beat up a little bit. So I've been leaving them on the front to help for traction, and then leave the rear, the firm, to help with the rear weight traction, especially in ascending climbs. You know, you need a little bit more weight or a little bit more firmness in the rear. At least that's how I like it. So that's what's going on so far with these wheels. You can see again they come with the rings and the hubs. They come with the hardware, and they also come with 4 lock nuts when you buy these separately. Obviously in the kit they come with lock nuts, but when you buy them separately, it comes with each pair comes with 2 wheels. This tree here has the hubs, the lock nuts, excuse me, the lock rings, and the wheel hubs on them. Now, as for using the wheel hubs, once you get the wheel assembled, you leave the hub off. You screw the hub on to the axle itself. and then you put the wheel over the hub and put in all 6 screws with the uh, hub cover sitting inside the wheel. That gets complicated when you're using a long use wheel, especially if you're going a long distance. For us, I tend not to want to have to do that. Take off all these 6 hub screws just to get in there and tighten down the actual wheel nut that's in there. That's a little bit too much of a complication for, especially when you're going long distances or longer distances than just, a short, some of the shorter comp courses, or, just a little tiny run that happens in front of your house or on some rocks or whatever. So that's a little bit of a complication we don't want. Eventually, I might go trim down some of the axial wheel hubs to put in here after I get them mounted, just for looks. But again, this is a basic trail truck. I really don't plan on doing too much detail to this thing. It's just going to keep running and running and running. And I like it that way. So that's the wheel in short. They work. I've liked them so far. Now, issues I've had, obviously, they're plastic. I've not run into any issues yet because I've only been running in the heat. Heat really isn't terribly detrimental to plastic as long as it's not sitting in the sun for a long amount of time. If you sit these wheels out in the sun for a long amount of time, like any bit of plastic, the surface is going to crack, it can get brittle, all kinds of things could happen. So obviously don't leave your wheels out in the sun. The other issue is the plastic hubs. They're actually, I'm pretty impressed with how light this plastic is and actually how tough it is. But I'm going to run those hubs that are on the wheels right now until they wear out, until I strip one. The moment I strip one, they're all going to come off, and they're all going to get aluminum hubs. Like I said, I have several sets of aluminum hubs to go on there, which is really convenient. In buying the actual aluminum wheels and spare hubs, I actually have spare hubs for these plastic wheels. Let's see, other issues. Oh, other issues. I had boggers mounted on this last weekend. On these wheels, and they ran excellent. I mean, they grabbed on easily. They were easy to mount. These crawlers also are extremely easy to mount. They've got a nice thick sidewall, nice thick bead, and they seated well. They are soft enough to run. For me, I actually love these. Are some of my favorite tires I've ever ran. But I did mount some of the Proline BFG KR2s. I'm sorry, the Baja KR2s. They were hard to mount. The beads are thin, and they have a really soft compound, which Proline, they make an excellent tire. I mean, I know they now have, I think it's the Predator compound, but the previous compound, I think it was a G8, still an excellent compound. I really, really, really like the Proline tires, with the exception of fitment on a few wheels. I believe the issue actually comes with one side being plastic and one side being aluminum. On the BFG, or excuse me, on the Proline, the same Proline tires, I've mounted them on aluminum wheels with aluminum rings with no issues. Whether it's the 2-ring style or the 1-ring style with the one piece that goes in and the ring on the inside. Now we've had a few issues with like the RC 4-wheel drive wheels. Trying to get Proline and Pitbull tires to mount in there because the compound's so soft, and they do have thin beads. But as for these, I think these are R35 1.9 axial BFG crawlers. These things, I have never had a problem mounting these on any wheel that I've had, and that's a lot. That's a lot of different wheels that I've mounted these on. One issue I did have with the RC 4-wheel drive Mayhem, no, the Monsters. They actually had a little bit of an issue, but we got around that by setting some of the black liquid insulation around the inner ring, and actually kind of sealing the tire in there nice and sticky. So sometimes you find tricks to work that with. I can imagine that some of the Pitbull tires would be harder to mount on these wheels for the same reason. For there being a soft compound, a plastic inner wheel with an aluminum outer ring, there's going to be some difference in slip between the two. So that bit of friction difference, yeah, it could be a problem. But for now, I'm really liking how these how these crawlers look on here. The boggers, the cut boggers I had on here looked awesome. The KO2 I got mounted on the one wheel looked great, but it didn't mount great. I did not like how it mounted on in the rings and smashed out of the rings. There was not a positive lockup for me. Now I know there's some other people out there who could, they could mount a softest compound RC tire possible on a square, rounded out, chewed up wheel and never have a problem with it. But, that's talent. That's all I can say is some people have some amazing talent with different wheels and tires and, the experience of stuff. So that's how they look. I'm going to mount the spare in the back here. You can see it kind of flopping around. This was the previous mount that we had in the Creature. You can see all it is one of the upright posts for the SCX-10. I believe this is for the JK, no, it's for the Rubicon body. It was for one of the taller Rubicon bodies. So that's actually what that is. You can see it's just the posts are bent. And then in the rear of the shocks, the rear shock mounts actually have the body mounts in them, so you just slide that in there and pin it in. Well, it's going to be a little bit different now that it's going on here, through the magic of zip ties or whatever. We're going to actually get it stuck in there. So that's just a quick rundown. Some different things happening with this rig, my main trail rig. After this, that's it. Just going to keep driving it. We have ProTech and EcoPower batteries from Amine that we're breaking in still. So we're putting miles on those and time on those to get those broke in nicely, which the 3600 MAH 3S 100C ProTech LiPo is amazing. If you get a chance to at least check one out, just look at them. Take a look at them, see if you like them. I'm loving it. It's actually not a LiPo. It's a lithium lithium high voltage. So you actually get a few extra tenths of a volt into each one, which can equal, within a 3-cell, probably almost an extra mile if you're really going to eke it out. So, on a longer trail run, overland run, whatever you're doing, that might make a difference, that one extra mile. So that's just a quick rundown. Yeah, I know, it's over a 12-minute video now, and I was rambling on. But I just wanted to show those off. Hopefully I can get some running video of some things soon. It's just kind of hard to do now. We've got kids going back to school, wife's back in school as a teacher. I'm trying to get some stuff done around the house. But we'll get more pictures out there. You'll see them on social media. And I'll just give you a nice little booty shot here to close us out. So I'll catch y'all later.